All right, there he is, fresh from a trip to Mexico with Scott Kugler, with Sean Kugler, right, Sean? It was the Sean. Is that your buddy, Sean Kugler?
No, I'm not getting involved in that. You kidding? Thank God. You know, you really got to work to get fired from a work trip in Mexico, but he got it done.
You know what I always say, dude? If you can't handle alcohol,
don't have any.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine that was, and I think we all have that buddy. That guy that when he has too many drinks, he's effing you love him, but until he has a few drinks, he's effing annoying. And then he's like embarrassing you and everybody else that's in the, in the group.
Yep.
And it would get to a point where I would tell him, yo, dude, if you're drinking, I'm leaving.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it. He was, oh, you're a dick. I go, no, bro, it's embarrassing. Then I got to either carry you or deal with you, or I'm next to you and you're embarrassing everybody else. Oh, and I go, yeah, dude, it's that bad. Yeah. And it got to that point with him. And I was like, hey, bro, I'm sorry. You can't handle your liquor.
Well, it's like always having that college friend who, would fight anybody if he had like 3 shots of tequila. Like, listen, you know what? I'm not going to fight somebody for you. You're an idiot. Like, if you want to fight somebody in the street, like, fine. Let me know how it goes. Yeah.
Dude,
what
2 a.m.
What a clown.
It's about 2, maybe 2:30. We're getting out of Nikki Blaine's, and we're walking over to Steak and Shake. You been to the Combine?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yes. So the bar, the cigar bar, Nikki Blaine's, that you go downstairs.
I've been there many times. Right. Yes,
right. So if you want to work, that's where you're going to get some work done. Anyway, so we're it's like they kick you out, and then there aren't a lot of places left in Indy to go eat at that time. But Steak and Shake is a staple. And brother, there was this waitress who she's a big woman. And she was gifted, chest wise, and so these 2 NFL executives, one was so drunk that he had to squeeze the Charmin.
Oh,
yeah, that woman lost it, and then the manager came and realized it was 2 NFL. I won't say who they are. This is like 15 years ago. None of you will figure it out, so don't even try. And so the NFL, the manager noticed who it was, and then talked her off the ledge from calling the cops. And everything kind of settled down after that. He was drunk, this, that. I don't think they get away with that anymore 15 years later.
No.
15 years later, you're kind of screwed. At that moment, you still were on the, you still could maybe get lucky and get away with it, but that would have been a headline somewhere. But those 2, one of the executives, obviously, because the other guy didn't do it, but they got lucky. They did not end up in headlines, dude. Yeah. And there were several of us there in the NFL, reporters, whatever. Nobody ever said anything about it because it's just not. It's one of those things you just, that's unless you're kind of one of those kind of reporters that you report, crap like that. That's most of us don't do that. We want to report trades and who's getting a contract, who's not, and who's getting fired and who's getting hired. And that's why we're there at the Combine. We're not really there for any of the personal crap. You know what I'm saying? So it just twisted, brother. Twisted. All right. I asked Rappaport this. I'll ask you this. Who's the biggest surprise in the NFL for you, and who's the biggest disappointment for you in the NFL?
The biggest disappointment, it's got to be somebody out of the West. It's got to either be Denver or the Raiders. I guess I'll say Denver. Like, Denver is just comically bad. If you go out and you give up 5 draft picks and 3 players, and you're worse than you were, excuse me, that's never good. So I got to go with Denver. I think surprise-wise, the Giants. I don't think anybody could have expected the Giants to be as good as they are.
I think they're frauds, but
Probably are, but they're
it's funny.
7-3.
It's funny because every time I say this, I want to always phrase this: Brian Dable's done a phenomenal job. I just think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors is what he's doing right now, and I commend him for doing what he's done. I think he's done an excellent job overall. But
He's got to be a coach.
I would not fear the Giants whatsoever if they happen to win enough to sneak into the playoffs. To me,
I
they're
agree. Seattle, by the way, is another one. And forgive me for my voice. I have the flu. I feel like I'm dying, but
my wife has it, bro. It's getting around everywhere.
I am doing the best I can here. But Seattle, the Giants, they'd probably be right there. Yeah, Denver and the Raiders are the two that you just look at and go. Like, I know the Colts, maybe you put them in there, but to me, I never thought the Colts were that good. So maybe that's just my own personal thing. Like Denver, you spent $250 million and you went out, you traded all these picks, all these players. You're one of the worst 5 teams in football. Like, I think they have to be the team that not only are they bad now, like they're going to be bad for a while. They almost torched their future. It's funny that division was supposed to be this great division and it's over and it's not even Thanksgiving. So it's been a weird year. I feel like there's only like 5 or 6 good teams. And so there's more disappointments than there are really great surprises, I would say, this season.
By the way, Adam Schefter is now reporting during a team meeting minutes ago.
Yep.
Jets players were informed that Zach Wilson is not starting Sunday's game versus the Bears. And then he has that he's a 5-2 record and both losses coming to the Patriots. And again, that's another fraudulent stat because if you actually watch the games, because, Matt, we have this disease in this country that we have a lot of, people that go on the air and do radio shows or TV shows, and they actually really don't watch the games. They just watch some highlights, notes that their producers prepare them with, that kind of shit. Because you've been in this business, you know what I'm talking about. But if you watch those games, Zach Wilson was not making a ton of plays. They were living off that defense and that running game, basically. What does this say to you now with Zach Wilson getting benched?
Well, it says that Saleh's trying to save the room because you can't start him. Like, I was surprised that was even a conversation this week. It really was.
Yeah.
You can't play him. You cannot play him. He is awful. And then after what he said after the game, that's a bigger problem than even how he's been playing. Like, to sit there and say, well, I don't think we'll let the defense down. Bro, you scored 3 points. You scored 3 points. What world do you live in? Like, it was embarrassing how bad the Jets were. It was embarrassing. And then on top of that, to come out and say what you said, Saleh's got to be thinking, I got to keep the room. Right. The only way he keeps the room is benching him.
Yeah. No, because your defense is not going to continue to sell out for you if you're not giving yourself a chance to win. And with this kid, obviously, he's not mature enough to handle all this. In fact, I was just talking about that before you got on because I trip out with the like you weren't a Tua hater. What you were like, hey, I need to see more before you were a wait and see guy, which guess what? That's what normal human beings do. But the absolute people that were like, no, he's too short. Oh, he can't play this, that. And then now they're obviously eating their words. And meanwhile, this Tua kid, he stayed composed through it for 2 years, bro. The coach didn't want you. Yep. The owner was trying to move for Brady. You had half the fan base that didn't believe in you, and then obviously tons of media members going after you, and the kid never pointed fingers, never said his offensive line sucked, never said they couldn't run the ball, never complained about the wind, never said anything that, and you heard me, with Kyler Murray and Zach Wilson, you never saw that kind of behavior ever from Tua, and he's come out from under it. You look at this with Zach Wilson, and it's like, this is a guy that just doesn't have it.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, if you're a Jets defensive player, you're furious. I mean, you went out and gave up 3 points in an important game. and you lost because your quarterback, I know he threw no picks in that game because he should have thrown 6. I mean, if you watch that game, if the Pats could have caught the ball, he would have thrown 5 or 6 interceptions. And not like diving interceptions, like balls right at guys they couldn't catch. So, listen, if you watch the game, the Jets had the ball with 2 minutes left and were running the clock out to get to overtime because they were so terrified of him throwing the ball. And I get on Saleh for that too. Look, if you're that terrified, then bench him. Like, you need to try to win the game. So now he does bench him, and it's going to be Mike White or Joe Flacco or wherever they go. But no matter what, it really doesn't even matter who it is. You're benching him because you have to save the locker room. You have to save face. And look, with Tua, you're right. Like, he never complained. He never blamed anybody. And guys, like, if you're the quarterback, you have to take the bullets for the guys on the team. You have to. I don't care how talented you are. It doesn't matter.
You can't point fingers and make excuses as a quarterback. That will never fly, dude.
No,
never.
I mean, guys in the room will hate you. They won't play for you. If the receiver runs the wrong route and you throw a pick, that's on you. Now, in the meeting room, hey, it's on the receiver. Fine, right. You over it. But in public,
the coach will pin it to whoever it belongs in the meetings. You don't have to worry about it.
You go up there, hey man, it's on me. I made a bad throw. You fumble a snap, it's center's flight, it's on me. You take that bullet. You're the quarterback. It's what you do. And I think, with Wilson, he should be taking every bullet he could find right now. I mean, you're playing terrible football. And to go up there and do that is bad news. I mean, the best quarterbacks, to be fair, how many times have you heard Tom Brady blame his own teammate? Now, he may yell at him on the sideline or whatever, but you don't see him do it in the media.
Ever.
You don't see Mahomes go up there and trash a receiver. You can't do that. Cannot do it. Wilson, frankly, deserves what he got.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It's a crazy story to see what's going on. And let me tell you something. Not just Wilson. I look at Kyler Murray, and he's kind of gotten a hall pass. And I think that obviously now that hall pass this year is kind of dying out with the whole thing about not studying the playbook, going after his coach, coming off the field, and then obviously his inconsistent play. He's dude. I mean, at the beginning of the year, again we go back to the Tua thing. I had to hear people say that Mac Jones, Zach, and obviously Josh, that they were all better than Tua. That Tua was the 4th best quarterback in the division. You know how many times I heard that in the offseason from people on ESPN or whatever, and it's like, look what's going on now with Mac and Zach, and then this whole thing with Kyler. I think also that well is running dry too with him.
Well, we talked about this when it happened, but when you put a homework clause in your quarterback's contract, like, look, let's just be honest about this, okay? The way the sausage is made, if you're a reporter in this league, is you have sources, and a lot of them are agents, a lot of them are, you have some players, some coaches, some GMs, some executives, whatever. But a lot of them are agents. Guys won't criticize players because they don't want to piss off somebody who's a source. And I with Murray, I think a lot of times people are hesitant to say anything because you don't want to upset anybody. Let's be honest. Kyler Murray, there's a reason that clause is put in his contract.
I've never heard of that. Never heard of that. You're not, because your quarterback is not. That's not supposed to be ever an issue with a quarterback.
I was coming home from vacation when that happened, and I was texting different people in the league that I talk with, and not one of them said they had ever heard of something like that. Not one. And so, like, the Cardinals, and of course, took the clause out, which it's like, yeah, that's great, guys. It's a little too late at this point. But there's a reason. There's a reason it's in there. Like, and by the way, there's also a reason they signed that.
And when you put a weight clause, there's a reason. When you put behavioral clauses, there's a reason. Whenever you put a clause, there's a reason why you put that clause in there.
The Cardinals put it in there because they don't trust him to study. Let's be honest. I mean, that's why it's in there. I will say this. I thought it was interesting on ESPN on Monday night before the game. They were ripping the hell out of Kyler Murray on air, which you never hear guys do. ever. It tells you what you need to know. I mean, there was a column in the local Arizona newspaper before the game saying that Colt McCoy is clearly the guy they should start. Hey, Colt McCoy. So, and the Cardinals extended all of these guys, Murray, the coach, and Kingsbury, and Bidwell's not exactly money bags. He's not going to go out and fire all these guys and then replace them. Same reason Josh McDaniels will be with the Raiders next year. Same reason. So they don't want to pay two coaches.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, the Cardinals are a mess. And that contract was bad money the second they signed that contract.
Is it Pat Mahomes MVP and then everybody else? Because right now it seems to me like he's actually pulling away from everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I will say this. If I had a ballot.
Because Josh Allen was the guy that could have, and he's light years behind him right now.
Yes, he is.
This inconsistent running game. Now maybe Pacheco is now the one that straightens out the running game. But up until now, it's kind of been potluck with the running game. And then with the receivers, he's had guys that come in and out too. And I got to say, marvelous. I can't go best coaching job by Andy Reid because he allowed Alex Smith's BBs to drop. Nobody ever did that. So that's when I give him super credit for okay, that might be your best coaching job ever, dude. Right. You got a conservative quarterback to actually open up a little bit. That's huge. That's like getting Michael Vick to 60%, 62% completion. Yep. That's you and I know elite quarterbacks, it's over 65. Okay. To get Michael Vick to 60, 62 is oh my God, that's like a hell of an accomplishment. But great job by Andy Reid. But I gotta say, dude, Mahomes he's shaping up that MVP trophy all by himself right now, dude. All by himself.
Yeah, I thought he cemented it in a lot of ways with that drive against the Chargers to win the game. Look, if I had a ballot right now, for me, it's 1, 2, and 3 are somewhat defined. I would have Mahomes, and I would have Tua, and then I would have Hurts. I mean, that would be 1, 2, and 3. I do think there's a pretty good gap right now. I mean, right now, Mahomes is throwing 28 touchdown passes. Nobody else is 23. He's got over 300 yards passing. He's got 300 passing yards more than the next guy, Josh Allen. It's always been this thing with some people about, well, he has so much help. Well, doesn't have Tyreek anymore. Kelsey's obviously great, but Tyreek is gone.
Everybody has great players, bro. Every great quarterback has great players too, bro. Please.
Yeah, well, this is true. I mean, against the Chargers, they had nobody that anybody's heard of outside of Kelsey because they're all hurt. Juju got hurt. Tony was hurt. MVS was banged up throughout the week. Hardman's out, and he still threw for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's funny watching that game. When they got the ball back with 1:40 left, down 4, it was the most certain I was the entire game that they were going to win. Even though they had given up a touchdown, they're going down the field. They're going to score. And then, of course, they did, and Kelsey scored again. It was third touchdown of the day. But yes, I think right now, unless he really falls apart, he should win the MVP.
I mean, what he's doing every week is amazing, and kind of like what we talked about in the preseason, that even though they lost Tyreek, they'll be fine. Because Andy Reid figures it out one way or another, and it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter who the receivers are. His offenses are always one of the top offenses in the league, even if it's freaking Alex Smith quarterbacking for him. He'll figure out, he'll give his player the opportunity to go out there and be successful. And, dude, Mahomes is just killing it. And look, the best part about the Kelsey thing is, he's getting the ball, and you still can't stop it. And that tells you all you need to know about Mahomes and Kelsey, that you can double, you can do whatever you want, you can bracket, you can do whatever, but he's still getting the ball, and you're still not stopping.
I mean, I'm a lover of NFL history, so I don't say this like Kelsey's the best tight end I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I know you could say, Gronk or Gonzalez or Winslow or, whoever, Newsom, Ditka. And I think Gronk, to be fair, is the more well-rounded player.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. He throws defensive ends to the ground.
Yes.
I've never even seen that I have to go back to Mark Bavaro.
Right. I mean, he was the more well-rounded player because Kelsey's a decent blocker, but Gronk's like having an offensive lineman.
Like Gronk and Kittle are more complete in that sense.
Yes, no doubt. But in terms of a guy who, from a receiving standpoint, can just dominate a game, like you just said, I mean, teams game plan every week to stop him, and none of it matters. None of it.
Right.
I mean, that touchdown he scored to win the game, Derwin James was on him one-on-one. Didn't matter. Just torched him. Just absolutely torched him, beat him, touchdown. Yeah, I think he's only he's like 40 or 50 yards away or something from 10,000 yards. He's 150 yards away from having his 7th straight 1,000-yard season. I mean, nobody else at tight end has ever had 4 consecutive. He's going to have 7. So he's in quite a class. And listen, the combination of he and Mahomes right now, it's probably the best combination in the NFL in terms of longevity and how great it's been over the years. I mean, there are guys certainly, that are having incredible years, whether it be Tua and Tyreek or it's Kirk and Jefferson. But in terms of just year after year after year after year, I mean, Mahomes and Kelsey have been at the top for a long time.
No, I'm with you there. Give me your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. You talked about 3 for the MVP. So who are your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL?
I mean, right now it would be Mahomes, it would be Tua, it would be Hurts, be Allen, and it'd probably be Burrow. I mean, I think those 5. I'm trying to think of them, like blatantly forgetting somebody.
Yeah, you are. He's having a better year than those 2 guys, and I would never say this in any other year. Yeah, bro.
I think he's 6. I think he's 6 in my rankings.
Yeah, dude, he's like 70%.
He's been incredible. It's been incredible.
Like his touchdowns to interceptions are, I think it's like 5-1 or something stupid.
Yep.
Like the kind of shit that we would never ever expect from Geno Smith, bro.
I know.
That's why I was wondering so he's got to be, right? You got to adjust there, right? He's in your top 5, right?
I think on my quarterback rankings, which went up today, I think he's 6th. I think I have him 6th behind those guys.
He's playing better than Josh Allen. I know he's not better than Josh Allen. I get all of that.
Right. I know what you mean. Like statistically, yeah, he probably is. But I mean, I think Allen for me has got to be in there. But yeah, I mean, it's like I think those 5 guys, and then Smith, and I think I have after that, it's like then you get into the whole is it Dak, is it Herbert, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever. But yeah, I mean, right now, even Brady is having statistically he's having a really good year, which is impossible. I don't know how the hell he's doing it, but he's doing it. Burrow, I think, is quietly having a better year than people realize. He had that game week 1 where he threw 4 picks, and since then he's been unbelievable. He has been lights out since week 1, and he's going to have to be because their schedule is brutal the rest of the way.
Yeah. And Mixon's not running with the same kind of success he had last year. Also,
no.
So that's which again makes a case more for Burrow that he doesn't have the same kind of running game that he had last year, and he's a hell of a player, bro. Burrow's a freaking.
He's a great player.
All right, tell him about Stacking the Box, my brother.
So check out Stacking the Box. Normally my voice doesn't sound like this. You should check it out and listen. Yeah, it's every Tuesday at noon Eastern, and it streams live on YouTube. And then also you can read the column every Monday. I have my power rankings on Tuesday, quarterback rankings Wednesday. I'm actually going to tweet them out here in a second. So go ahead and check all that stuff out. I'd really appreciate it.
And follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame. Matt, as always, you're a stud. I hope you feel better, my brother. Happy Thanksgiving, man.
You too.
Enjoy the tryptophan.
Yeah, plenty of it. Thanks a lot. Take care.
You got it, buddy. Be good. There you go. Matt Verderame. And don't forget redrecover.com. I don't want you living with pain and discomfort. A lot of us are doing it, and then you might be taking drugs for it, and oh, come on, man, that's not good for you either. How about something that's just natural with no side effects? Red light therapy. So if you're dealing with that shoulder discomfort, that elbow pain, maybe it's a tennis elbow, you name it. Maybe you've got a knee injury, ankle. Maybe it's an old injury, an old operation, and you get some soreness from it. Red light therapy is amazing. The wraps are very affordable at redrecover.com. Go to the website, use our code Big O, get 10% off. And let me tell you, 15 minutes a day is going to make such a difference in your life. If you're trying to grow your hair, we've got the hats. If you want to take care of your dogs as they get older, they deal with hip issues, you can actually put on the pads every day for 15 minutes to help them also along the way so they can alleviate some of the pain and discomfort. Maybe you just had an operation and you got a scar and you're going, oh my God, that scar is going to be there forever. Red light therapy can help make that scar disappear. We've got before and after pictures on the website at redrecover.com. You got to check it out, folks. Check out the video blogs, the regular blogs. Find out more about it. Use our code Big O. Go to redrecover.com. Alleviate that pain, that discomfort. And let me tell you, if you're a workout warrior, whatever it is, pickleball, tennis, walking, running, weights, basketball, whatever it is you do, and you've got some pain and discomfort in certain joints, man, use it before and after your workouts, and it will optimize your workouts. It gets the blood flow going, could maybe help you also to avoid some injuries or any kind of, wear and tear. Go to redrecover.com. Check it out for yourself and use our code Big O to get 10% off.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.